That's it, we're rolling.
Why are we always late? Why can't we be on time? George, why? Any reason? Will?
Sorry?
Yeah, deafening silence.
How to do our hair?
Firstly, it's really weird. We did one of these before. This is our second term. We're all used to talking a lot here, so this probably works quite well for us. Firstly, it's World Gin Day, so I'd like to wish you a happy World Gin Day and thank you for joining us at Old Bakery Gin. We're actually here. We call it a distillery, which is very misleading. You can't see what's behind you there. You can just see me. Behind you is our offices, and we are really a plumbing company. We're the London Boiler Company. We install boilers. We have a leak detection business here. We have specialist equipment looking for leaks, and that's all done from over there in our untidy office. So again, thank you for joining us on World Gin Day. So how did a bunch of plumbers end up making gin for Buckingham Palace, Harrods, Fortnum and Masons? Well, it's a really fun story, and I'm going to just whiz through it. If you want to see the actual, they're all looking at me making funny pictures, so I have no idea what's going on, but I'm obviously doing something wrong. If you want to check out our backstory as to why we're making gin is just crazy, but it is an authentic story. The property we're in is an old bakery. It's still called the Old Bakery. It was an old bakery well over 100 years ago. And we bought this rundown building to convert from a wreck into an office for our plumbing company. When we did that, I'm going to come forward and show you some pictures, and I'll just do this very, very quickly. They're on my iPad. Do they both, if I do that, do they
go that way a bit?
That way?
Or no,
that way?
A little bit more.
Bit more?
Just that sort of way.
Is that on both? Is that on both?
Go back a little bit. It is now.
Okay. Yeah. So when we converted this old building into an office, we removed the original bakery ovens and the chimney because there were trees growing up them. They were completely unsafe. So we removed them when we were doing all the renovations. We then got sued by a neighbour who genuinely took me to court and said, "Hey, that's my chimney. You've taken down my chimney." Sued me. So we got into this stupid legal dispute. So while the lawyers were looking at the history of the place to say, was it your chimney? Was it your chimney? Or was it my chimney? How did this all go wrong? The lawyers found out that the bakers, over 100 years ago, made and sold illicit gin on the premises. Because I was being sued, I actually tracked down the original family descendants. You can see pictures on our website. This isn't made up as crazy as it sounds. BBC News, ITV News, even Channel 4 covered this. And then by tracking down the family descendants, we were able to obtain the original gin recipe that was made here over 100 years ago by the bakers. So when we say that we've resurrected London's oldest illicit gin distillery, I mean, it's a fun, wonderful thing to say, but it's actually true. This isn't fun. This isn't some made up story. If we hadn't have been sued, we wouldn't be here today talking to you, and we certainly wouldn't be making gin. So why are we making gin? Well, it is such a phenomenal story. It just didn't seem right to let it go. So even though we know nothing about gin really, or we certainly knew nothing back then, some YouTube videos, talking to people in the industry, lots of help from Alan at Jerry's. Literally, we're on our way. And yeah, we went on some courses, and here we are today, 2.5 years later, and we're supplying Harrods, Fortnum and Masons. We supply Buckingham Palace. We're getting our gin into various British embassies through the Foreign Office. Our drink has been served at the Foreign Office. So that's our story in essence. So it's a huge bit of fun. Michael Patillo's been to film for his railway journeys. Less about him, the better. If you're watching, Michael, hello. Michael's been a real fantastic ambassador and been a great help to us. And so is Arena. So for Arena, if you're watching, thank you to you for all your help and support. So that's a very, very brief overview. That's a very, very brief overview of Old Bakery Gin. So what else have we been doing? So we started off with the original gin, which has only 4 botanicals. So it's a very, very simple gin. We had one of the guys from Sipsmiths, the head distiller, try our gin and suggested that we add a couple more botanicals into it, in his opinion. The thing is, he's probably right, because obviously they sold their company for £35 million, so they certainly know what they're talking about. However, the whole thing about Old Bakery gin is that we've resurrected something that was here over 100 years ago, and we're not changing it. So the minute we change it and add this to it and add that to it, it no longer becomes the original authentic gin that we've resurrected. So even though it was great advice from Sipsmiths, we're sticking to our guns. We've won plenty of awards, so we're just going to keep it authentic and original. It's been a few changes to what we've been doing. So we've now expanded the gin, which George will talk to you about soon, to a pink gin. We always swore that we would never do a pink gin, but we've done one, and George will explain exactly why we've done that and what's really unique about it that makes it different from all the other pink gins that are out there. We're about to launch our first London whiskey. Now, we were due to launch it last month. Well, that didn't happen during the lockdown because obviously the whole world's gone crazy. But I'm going to show you a sneak preview. We don't even have a bottle to show you, I'm afraid, because they're still with the printers. Can you see? Does that come up, Will?
You might have to pan it across, start one, and
so if I start there, is that clear enough?
Yeah.
So that's our new whiskey bottle. That's the front of the bottle. You've got all of our silly faces on the back. Then you've got, if I start here, you've got Alan from Jerry's, Soho legend, and we've put Alan's face on there. And why have we put Alan's face on there? Well, Alan has helped us from day one. Jerry's have been a fantastic brand ambassador for us in terms of really supporting us when we were complete minnows, really, and didn't know what we were doing. By the way, we still don't know what we're doing. Is that fair to say? Everyone's nodding. So yeah, thank you to Alan at Jerry's and all your staff that have just really got behind our product and pushed it and pushed it and pushed it. And even now today, they're still pushing our product, which is fantastic. So this is our tribute, the Plumber's Tribute, Old Bakery Gin Whiskey tribute to Alan at Jerry's, just as a thank you, really, just for helping us get this out there. So what have we been doing during lockdown? So if you saw our previous live feed, obviously our gin sales have literally fallen off a cliff and taken a tumble. And loads of people say, well, how can that be? Because the gin market is growing and growing and people have been drinking more during the lockdown. And that's absolutely true. The thing is, there's 4,000 British gins, 2 new gins a day. Obviously, there's not 2 new gins a day during the lockdown process, but there's 4,000 British gins. And the problem with that is we're tiny and most people haven't heard of us. So yeah, the sales of gin have been going up and up and up for the big brands that most people have heard of. But because we're so small, we don't really fit into the category of people of choosing our gin. So it is a very, very niche gin, and we've got it into some very, very exclusive places. So what have we been doing during the lockdown with No Gin? Well, we've been making hand sanitizer. We've been making this, it's a gel hand sanitizer and a liquid hand sanitizer. We've been supplying the Ministry of Defence on Whitehall, I kid you not. I got the wonderful job, I tried to get George to do it, but he bottled out. I got the job of going to the Ministry of Defence on Whitehall, and Michael, if you're watching, you know this is true. And I actually asked the Ministry of Defence, do the British Army want their hand sanitizer to be fragranced, yes or no? I'm not going to tell you the answer, obviously. So yeah, we've been supplying the Ministry of Defence, the British Army, Metropolitan Police Gold Command that have literally taken over the running of security during the lockdown, and supporting the London London Ambulance Service. The other main player really is, and it's impossible to not say, is the NHS. We've been supplying the National Health Service through our local authority. So that's been fantastic. So we've actually been really, really, really busy during lockdown, whereas we thought we would be obviously very quiet because our plumbing has gone, well, it's very, very quiet, exceptionally quiet. So that's what we've been doing during lockdown. I'm going to invite George and Will to come in now, and George and Will are going to talk to you a little bit more about our rum, our pink gin. But they're also going to make some drinks. Now, you've seen TV programmes before, or shows before, where they make a drink or they make something, you think, wow, I'd love to do that. And then when you look at it, you just think, oh, do you know, I just can't be bothered, it's going to be an absolute nightmare. Well, they are going to show you how we serve Old Bakery Gin at Buckingham Palace, how we serve it at the Foreign Office, how we serve it at Lancaster House. And I promise you, they're Fisher Price. George, they're the simplest, really simple.
Really easy.
Really easy, but delicious, absolutely delicious. So Will, George, over to you chaps. I never got my cup of tea. That was a lie, it was there waiting for me. Thank you.
Hello there.
Good evening, everyone. Oh,
Good evening. Oh, we've got a wobbly table.
that's it.
We'll go through some drinks. We'll start with the classic Old Bakery gin, served at Buckingham Palace. It's a really simple drink to make, and you can use it with our regular strength or our Navy strength. I know after our last live feeds, the Navy strength was very popular, so go for that now. And it has to be pink or red. It can't be white grapefruit. So white grapefruit's too bitter. Pink or red grapefruit. Give it a really good squeeze into the glass. And then basil. Not too much basil, just one leaf of it. If you put too much in, the drink will just taste the basil. And generous amount of Old Bakery gin. Like I said before, if you prefer it a bit stronger, the Navy strength. I know from when Ian was talking, we were looking at some of the messages. There was people drinking their Navy strength that they'd ordered from last time. So hello to Billy up in Scotland, and hi to Tarquin. And with the floral Merchant's Heart tonic. Again, with the tonic, it's up to you with your sweet or savoury what kind of tonic you like. The floral does really make it.
Yeah,
the floral work.
It works very well in that drink.
Yeah, it really does
that's
work.
what?
Yeah, that's for you. And where I mean,
Will, you haven't done anything.
I know. I'm taking more of a supervisory role.
Yeah. Will, turn around. Turn around.
No,
turn
no,
around.
no,
turn around. Turn
no,
around.
no,
This is
no.
really important. This is really important.
No.
Look at that.
That's what lockdown does to you.
Yeah.
But without being smug, wherever we go, wherever we serve this drink, we've never had anyone spit it out and say, "Oh, I don't like that," or "It's not for me." Everyone seems to like that drink, and people that aren't, you know, if you speak to someone and they say, "I'm not normally a gin drinker, I prefer the vodka or wine or brandy or whatever it is," and we say to people, "Just try this," and it does work for people who aren't normally gin drinkers. So that is the classic. It's always a winner wherever we go. We're moving on to the pink gin. And the problem we had with this when we started, I mean, we did it for a special event. We've been selling it over the last few weeks. The problem we have had is obviously we've made this product and people say, "Well, how do I serve it?" And the answer, what really was, we don't know, but we've played around with it. And the best way to serve it is actually made, it's the only pink gin with real strawberry and black pepper. And you get the black pepper on the finish,
Yeah.
if you drink it neat.
So it's almost like slight warmth at the finish.
Yeah.
Nice.
And people ask, how do you get it on the finish? And the answer is, well, what's the answer?
We don't know.
We don't know. So, a generous pink gin. If you do get to try the pink gin, please try it neat before you put any tonic or any garnish in.
You could have it as a sipping gin, literally just on its own, couldn't you? I mean, it's smooth.
And where do you get the pepper?
On the finish, yeah.
And why is that?
We don't know. We're just saying.
Thing is, I think this grapefruit and basil, it's just such a.
It's always a winner.
It's just a classic G&T. It's brilliant.
Now these strawberries are actually soaked in gin, so if you put strawberry in on its own, it will take a long while before they actually do anything. So you either leave your drink there for 10 minutes to make it better, or actually soak the strawberries in gin, which we've just done.
And do you want to say about the title of the pink gin without saying who it's for, because we're not allowed to talk about it?
Yeah, I know. So it's the Garden Party Gin.
Yeah.
And we've just put it on our website.
Yeah.
So on the last event, last one of these that we did, we hadn't put it on our website. We've put it on our website now, but I'm looking, obviously you can't sit from where you are, you can't see the shelves. I'm looking at the shelves, and it is, once it's gone, it's gone. We've got a little bit more to bottle, but it's on there now. And we've decided maybe with a plain, with either a light or a plain tonic, it works well. And we've got a bottle opener here for once.
Is there a temptation to put the pink tonic with the pink
gin?
gin?
Yes, just because of the way it looks. But we've decided it works better with a plain tonic. It looks better it will always look better with hibiscus. But it does actually taste a lot better with a plain tonic.
I think with that sweeter, you almost lose that that peppery finish to it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Tracy, when your last bottle of Old Bakery Pink Garden Gin, how long did it last?
Not even a night.
What, that long?
And there was only 2 of us drinking it.
Save it for the judge.
Good.
Save it for the judge.
So those, and also, and we've got the rum. So it's World Gin Day, and we're talking about rum, but the rum is such a winner. The Dark and Stormy, because we haven't been doing events recently. We had one last night, didn't we? And just remember,
there was lots of social distancing.
Yeah, there's lots of social distancing involved. Not getting anyone in trouble. But yeah, we had one last night, and it was just so nice because we hadn't been at any events for the last few months, and you realise what a nice drink it is. Again, with this one, the lime bit is really important. So actually, half a lime, and really squeezed in there, even more if you like. And yeah, the rum, we've done a couple of batches now of it, and it will, the colour of it does vary very slightly. Rita, hello if you're watching.
Yeah, Rita is watching. Rita.
Yeah. Hi Rita, hi Kenny. I know you really like the rum, and it does vary from the various batches. So
Sharon.
if you were to buy it now and say you bought a bottle just before Christmas, if it had lasted that long, you'd actually look at it on the shelves and you'd see that there is a very slight difference in the colour there. So yeah, we've been this one is very, very, very slightly darker recently. But there, and it must be the Merchant's Heart Ginger Ale, made with real ginger. If you buy ginger ale in the supermarkets, it will all be artificial stuff.
Or it'll be made from concentrate.
Yeah.
Which is
and made with real ginger. And just so you know, the deal we're doing tonight, if you were to order, and if you were to order tonight, depending on where in the country is, you'll probably get it by sort of Wednesday this week. It's a very sort of quick service. 10% off, and actually type in 10% off as a discount code, and you will get 5 of the different Merchant's Heart tonics. If you order the rum, you'll get 5 of the ginger ale. And we've got also, let us know any messages, because on each bottle it's blank, and we can write a message. I know we've got Father's Day coming up, so if you wanted to write a message, if it was a present, please send us a separate email or let us know, and we can write a little message on the bottle, or we can put a message in with that. But yeah, like I said, if you order it tonight, you'll get it.
Do you want to just give them a brief overview of the rum? What makes the rum different with the redistillation and the whole process? Yeah.
I mean, it is. We are the only people to do what we've done
in Great Britain.
We're the only people to do what we've done. The rum that we've taken is the before and after, it was a really harsh, really
Horrible.
harsh run. No, I disagree with saying it's horrible. I mean, it still had a nice flavour, but it would burn.
It was drinkable, but
You'd get a real burn on it, and it was harsh. I mean, it still had the nice flavours. Now, by redistilling it, and we've done it in many different ways. We're now doing it at a lower temperature and barrel aging it.
And who discovered doing it at the lower temperature?
Yeah.
The thing is, it was more of a trial and error thing, really. I mean, it's
Credit where credit's due.
I mean, if you look at one of our really
You stumbled
I
across.
know. If you look at one of our really early batches, it's almost that sort of colour.
Yeah.
What it is. I mean, now it's a very, very dark brown, but I still always refer to it. It is almost like a whiskey rum hybrid. It's like a cross between the two, but it's lovely.
And mead and Mavrodavny, which is a Greek dessert wine.
Whose idea was that?
It was the guys at Jerry's. That thought, because we spoke about doing it in sherry and port, and they said, well, yeah, you can do that, but everyone does that.
Yes.
Everyone does it, and no one's done what we've done, and the feedback's been fantastic. The feedback has been absolutely fantastic. You can get it in Harrods, and
Jerry's.
yeah, you can get it in Jerry's, and
Direct
the
from us.
feedback we've got. I mean, when we first launched it, and we did taste it, people were saying they've spent more than over £100 on something that's not as good as this. We had some we get some really good feedback from it, and we've also served it at the Foreign Office and Buckingham Palace.
So how are we getting into all these kind of places? Are we allowed to mention number 10?
Yeah, maybe.
We're going there after lockdown.
Yeah. Well, I mean, people love the story. People love, people.
It's got
really
a real
love the
heritage.
story. And it's a real genuine heritage.
I'm going to come round and join you. This Sarah sent a message saying, "What about the tissues?"
Hi,
Here's the
Sarah.
tissues. Hi, Sarah and James. Here's the tissues. It's a little private joke. Is it a joke? Right. So a little bit about our whiskey. So the whiskey, as I've already mentioned, you've seen the bottle. The whiskey is our tribute, it's our thank you to Alan at Jerry's for supporting us from day one. And obviously he had to approve the whiskey because obviously anything with drinks is so subjective, isn't it? You ask 10 people to try something and you get 10 opinions, and no one's wrong because it's very subjective. But Alan liked our whiskey. So what we've done is there is a little twist on the whiskey, and we have just finished the whiskey in one of our rum casks. Now we had to play around with this because either it was too sweet, which obviously it didn't taste like a whiskey; it was more like a bourbon, wasn't it?
We did go for a lot.
A lot of waste.
Yeah,
big time.
Big time. It's.
But
I think we've got there.
That's great.
It's brilliant.
Super smooth. Drink it neat on ice. Yeah, I mean you can mix it with anything, but really just neat on ice, and it does take like a very, very smooth, fine whiskey. So we look forward to obviously playing around with that. Navy. Have you talked about the Navy?
Yes. It was very popular after last week. Yeah.
Yeah, we did well. We did with the Navy. So the Navy's 57.7, and a little story with our Navy gin. We actually have made a bespoke gin for the Royal Navy for one of their organisations. So we've actually supplied the Navy with Navy gin, which is a bit of fun.
Yeah.
And we've been invited onto the new aircraft carrier, the HMS Queen Elizabeth, to actually make a gin for them on board. So we're looking forward to that, and we're looking more looking forward to getting on board there. We want the jolly of going on the aircraft carrier, to be quite frank. So we're getting it into the right places. We're still very small. Most people really haven't heard of us. And the only way really in the gin market to make money is to go for volume. And we're not doing that because there's 4,000 gins competing for volume. We're just trying to keep it as upmarket as we possibly can because it's an extremely niche product. It's got the most fantastic backstory and a really, really authentic history, which that's what sells it.
Yeah. I suppose even from a production point of view, I mean, pretty much what you see behind us is where that is it. That is.
We do have. You can't see it, but just to our left there, we do actually have a large commercial still. But it really doesn't get much use, does it?
Can we just remind them what the discount code is, because someone's asking?
Discount code is 10, so it's 10, this percent, and then off. So 10% off. So if you type that in, a few people, because you're going to get 5, we're going to send you a selection of tonics. You get 5 tonics free. So don't buy. Last time we did this, customers were then buying 5 tonics, so then they receive 10, because obviously you've bought 5, and then I mean, you're very welcome to buy as many as you like, but just don't forget, if you do nothing and just order 1 bottle or 2 bottles, then it'll be pro rata. You'll get 5 tonics or 10 tonics. You don't have to buy the tonics. You will receive those free when you order whatever your choice of bottle is. Any comments from yourself?
I think we've pretty much covered everything, haven't we? It's,
We've got Sarah Wine saying, "Hi guys, I'm enjoying your gin this evening.
Fantastic.
Barbecue with the girls."
Brilliant.
Excellent. So thank you. We're gonna wrap up. Two important things for me to say, which are really, really important, is huge thanks to Merchant Heart. We believe they are the best tonics money can buy. They're not cheap. They are an upmarket tonic. Use real quinine. They avoid all the artificial nasties. And I'll tell you why I want to thank them, apart from the fact that they really support us. When we started, and we were just nobodies, and I consider us now really as nobodies. We've got some cool clients, but no one's really ever heard of us. When we started, we had Michael Portillo coming down to film. And we thought, it'd be really great. Michael Portillo's going to do a little film. He's going to look at the history of the place and cover the whole of our story, which he did really well. I thought it'd be fantastic to do a gin tasting with Michael Portillo, and just get different tonics. Get tonics from A, B, C, and D, and just and literally just do a taste off by trying the same gin with different tonics to see how the tonics affect the product. So we I'm not going to go into names, but nobody was interested in talking to us. One very well-known tonic manufacturer up in the northeast were quite rude, to be quite honest with you. And Merchant Heart, who we really hadn't heard of, I think they cold called us and said, "Can we come and see you?" And we said, "Look, any chance you could come in this week?" And they came down. They came down. They sat down. They gave us some samples. They talked through the product. They made some suggestions on what tonics would pair with which drinks. We're making various drinks with our gin, and they were so supportive. And they just came out of the blue. So we are getting into some really cool places, and on the back of that, we always take Merchant Heart with us. So we're at the Foreign Office, so Merchant Heart is served there. When we got into Buckingham Palace, Merchant Heart was served there. So it just we can't thank you enough really for supporting us from day one, and long may that relationship continue. And then obviously I've mentioned Jerry's a few times. There's Alan at Jerry's. He's got his fantastic team. They are little brand ambassadors for our life.
Brilliant.
And if anybody doesn't know who Jerry's are, Google Jerry's of Soho. The only way to describe them, forgive me for saying this, Alan, they look like a 1970s old off-licence, and you go in there and it's a bit tatty. I'm being nice when I say that. It's really tatty, but they have everything. They have everything, and what's more important than the fact they have everything, they have the best experience and the best advice. So when people come in and say, "I'd like to do this," or "I'd like to do that," they'll say, "Hang on, do you want to try something a bit special?" And they'll go and find something for you, rather than just get something off the shelf, serve you, take your money and go. They are absolutely fantastic, and obviously they're behind us. So thank you, Alan, and your team. Any final words?
I think that's it. I think
George, any final words?
No, I think that's it.
Tracy?
Happy Gin Day.
Happy Gin Day.
Yeah.
Happy World Gin Day, and thank you so much for watching. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you.
Thank you.